is there really a serial cat killer stalking the streets of the United Kingdom? Over the last decade, there have been thousands of sudden and unexplained cat deaths right across the United Kingdom, and media reports often state that the cats are being deliberately poisoned, which is causing conspiracy theorists to claim that all the incidents are linked and are the work of a serial cat killer. However, a lot of these incidents have been investigated by the police, and all those cases were closed without a single suspect being identified. So is there really a serial cat killer stalking the streets of the United Kingdom? In the December of 2024, I commenced my investigation into the sudden and unexplained cat deaths across the UK. Initially, finding reliable evidence about the numerous cat deaths proved to be an extremely difficult task. Veterinarians were not required to do autopsy reports, and in most cases, the cause of death had been recorded as unknown. However, I did identify a few similarities. Most of the deceased cats were young and healthy creatures. All had fallen ill very suddenly, and many had died within just a couple of days. And in some cases, veterinarians had recorded that cats appeared to be suffering from multiple organ failure before they had died. I also discovered numerous press reports covering the deaths, most claiming that owners feared the cats had been deliberately poisoned by antifreeze. I could see how these media reports added fuel to the fear and paranoia of the conspiracy theorists, many of whom turned to social media claiming there was a serial killer on the loose. I didn't support this theory. The cases were spread way too far across the country, and there were far too many to be the work of just one person. There simply had to be another explanation for the deaths, one that everybody had overlooked. I decided to focus my investigation on the one issue that had been repeated on numerous occasions, which was the speculation that antifreeze was responsible. The main component of antifreeze is an industrial solvent known as ethylene glycol, and when added to water, bonds to the water molecules and reduces the freezing point of water from 0 degrees centigrade down as far as minus 40 degrees centigrade. And this enables vehicles to be used in winter conditions. And without antifreeze, the country would grind to a halt every winter. However, ethylene glycol has one major shortcoming. It's incredibly toxic. And to give you an idea of just how toxic ethylene glycol is, the only venomous snake in the United Kingdom is the adder. If an adder were to bite a cat, it would eject the same amount of venom as shown in this capsule. And in most cases, the cat would make a full recovery. However, if a cat ingests just 1 teaspoon of ethylene glycol and does not receive urgent veterinary treatment, then it will die. My investigation revealed that the toxicity of ethylene glycol is well known across the industry. Consequently, most antifreeze manufacturers supply their product in robust plastic containers with childproof safety caps. And the vast majority of antifreeze manufacturers also add a bittering agent to the antifreeze, which is incredibly repulsive to cats and will cause the cat to vomit anything it's just ingested. The more I investigated antifreeze, the more convinced I became that antifreeze was not the problem. In the summer of 2025, I had a major breakthrough in my investigation. I became aware of an incident that had taken place in central India, where over 20 children had suddenly become ill and died of multiple organ failure. And when the state investigated the deaths, they found that all the children had consumed the same type of cough syrup before falling ill. And when the syrup was tested, it was found to contain high levels of diethylene glycol, which is made from ethylene glycol, where the investigators had concluded that the main cause of the contamination was down to ineffective safety control measures of industrial glycols. This tragic incident in India had several similarities to the cases I was investigating in the UK. Could it be that it was ineffective safety control measures surrounding the use of ethylene glycol that was exposing cats to the risk of poisoning? In addition to lowering the freezing point of water, ethylene glycol has another unique property. When mixed with water and sprayed onto a frozen surface, the ethylene glycol breaks the bonds between the frozen water molecules and turns ice into a heavy sludge. Once the sludge falls from the windscreen, it normally ends up in a puddle beneath the car. The ethylene glycol continues to work on the ice until all of the ice is melted, and what remains is a small toxic puddle. And depending upon weather conditions, the water in that puddle will slowly start to evaporate. However, the ethylene glycol in the puddle will not evaporate, and over the course of the day, the puddle becomes increasingly more toxic, and unlike antifreeze, a high percentage of de-icer manufacturers do not add bittering agent. My investigation has revealed that when it comes to ethylene glycol, cats are unwittingly participating in a game of Russian roulette, where the type and volume of de-icer that's used, the nature of the surface beneath the car, and the time of day that the cat ventures outdoors will determine how great a risk of poisoning that the cat is exposed to. If you suspect that your cat has been exposed to ethylene glycol, then you must seek urgent veterinary treatment, and the symptoms of ethylene glycol poisoning are your cat will struggle to keep its balance, its rear legs may collapse, it may be drooling excessively or vomiting. You must get your cat to a veterinary practice as swiftly as possible. It is time to change the narrative. People need to stop spreading the rumour that there's a serial cat killer at large in the UK. There is not. But for as long as that rumour circulates, the real killer is hiding in plain sight. We need to shift the emphasis across to developing a better understanding of the risks associated with the use of products that contain ethylene glycol. Therefore, if you share this video with every single cat owner that you know, we're taking a massive step in the right direction. As always, folks, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you all soon.